A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K. Hello, welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, where we're talking Elimination Chamber results and reactions to, what was an interesting pay-per-view, I would say.
Live event.
Oh yeah, damn it. We need to get like some kind of like swear jar or something. Pay-per-view.
Yeah, we need like a bleep that just dubs over when you say pay-per-view.
But it could be like the pay-per-view premium live event. Just like really over the top.
Yeah, it'll sound nothing like it, but that's the fun of it.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go off script here because I had this as a talking point towards the end. But, since we're talking about pay-per-view, I'm glad I didn't pay for this. For one reason, Anthony. For a 3-hour show, probably more than 3 hours, there was just over an hour of wrestling on it.
Some bullshit. What is this? Raw?
It's actually not that uncommon. Why am I so mad? But I mean...
for a pay-per-view that couldn't include...
Premium live event.
Shit!
See?
For a premium live event that couldn't include, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall seeing it there, couldn't include the mid-card.
Well, no.
So we didn't have enough time for the mid-card belts.
It's a premium live event that's 3 hours that they'd originally scheduled 8 matches for, one of which was moved to the pre-show and one of which didn't even take place because they were attacked before it started. So it's like, are you shitting me?
Naturally.
So 3 hours of promo packages and advertisements for fucking.
Mate, so advert heavy these days.
Yeah.
Like,
insane.
You get all the way through it, you got like Snickers bars looking at you, you know what I mean? Like, is it still Snickers? I can't remember. They have a logo, don't they, underneath? Like, like Elimination Chamber and like a little logo for something.
Yeah, whoever pays for enough that week.
Right? And then all the way through, you're getting fucking adverts left and right. And the adverts, like, we're British, and even when you go on a WWE network in our country, the adverts are fucking irrelevant. Like, cricket, wow, it's like, we can't have cricket. Fuck all to do with us.
Okay, cricket, if you're listening to this now, I think Anthony will be perfect with his fantastic cricket wireless impression that he just did then. It's a top dollar. Endlessly waiting. This is true. This is true. I have gone rather scrambly faced. I don't know why that is. Maybe we just crack on and pretend like everything's fine. But you've got a lovely smile on your exactly makes sense. Right, so I've just paused it. I don't know what it's doing. You're still frozen. So yeah, we're back, hopefully. Fixed our faces there for a moment. But, said to Anthony, we'll go back into this seamlessly. That wasn't seamlessly, because I just told you that we had to pause it for a sec. But we're back, and hopefully you can see our beautiful faces now.
But what I was moaning about, Carl, was...
so many things.
Like, I like Snickers and all, but,
Yeah.
Maybe more wrestling.
This whole time we were paused, it's been 3 hours, he's still just been rambling about Snickers. It's a good job we paused it, really. Saved you some.
Honestly, I've just been telling Carl about my favourite chocolates. Quite partial to a Terry's chocolate orange, Carl.
A Terry? You couldn't pick him up British one, could you? Oh, I like Terry's chocolate orange.
That's probably not even sold in the States.
I know. Is it sold in the States? Let us know in the comments. Let us know. I think they actually have Kinder Eggs now over there.
No, you get Kinder Surprise. I don't think you can get the actual egg.
Okay. The surprise is it's an egg every time.
I'm given to understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an expert on the snack politics over in the States, but I'm given to understand the reason the Kinder Surprise exists is because they wouldn't have the toy in the egg. So the Kinder Surprise obviously is one half your sweet and one half is your toy. So that they're not together at all. And I believe that's done so that they can sell them in the States.
Interesting. And that was our Elimination Chamber.
We're not here to talk about snacks.
So let's do what we're
podcast about snacks across the world, Carl. Let's do it. I don't care.
Let's do it. Let's go into the first match, which was on the pre-show.
Let me tell you about Australia, right? They do something called the Tim Tam.
Shut up.
I'm kidding.
It's just a bourbon. Right. So
I love how you told me to shut up and it's so bad. It's good.
But yeah, so wrestling. First match that we had was on the pre-show. We had Rey Mysterio taking on The Miz, Anthony. And I was very annoyed by this, as I was by most matches, mainly because in my prediction on our prediction series, I backed The Miz because they'd led me to believe for weeks and weeks that this was going to be when Rey Mysterio and Dominic break up.
It's what I wanted. I wanted to lead into a good feud between the two.
Mm-hmm. But no, what did they do? They had, and again, this it bothers us probably more than it should, right? But it was so Eddie focused again, and it's just like, just let it go, man. Like, please.
Like, I think that's the thing. Like, it's like for those who are like, it's harsh saying let it go. Like, obviously they're always going to love Eddie, right? That's not what we're saying. But stop referencing him all the time. We get it.
It's in every match, and it's like you're just copying all his mannerisms and doing his finishing move, and it's like, yeah, all right. Either adopt it as your own, as an homage, or don't stop. It's almost he's living vicariously through, and it pisses me off, to be honest.
Anytime they want a pop, they go for an Eddie thing.
Exactly,
and that's what I don't like about it. It feels disingenuous in some ways.
Yeah, it's a cheap pop, and you shouldn't be doing that over someone like Eddie Guerrero.
Exactly, and this is no disrespect. I know Ray loved him. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt about that. So I think they were like family. So I'm not saying he's being disrespectful to Eddie. I just think it's like it's not done in the right way.
No, and it's just too often as well. But anyway, that minor thing aside, I
can't even remember Eddie. I can't even remember Ray's moveset anymore.
Well, exactly. 619 and then the rest of Eddie's. But effectively, Miz on the outside made out as though Dominic had hit him with a chair or something, so the ref banned him, but didn't really ban him because he just basically went and stood on the ramp like he'd been told off. And then, despite all this, Rey Mysterio just won anyway. And then the Miz was like, I'm going to beat you up then. And then Dominic just ran down from the little bit of the edge of the ramp, and then they both beat the Miz up, and it was like, okay. But now knowing what we know, it turns out that they're not done with this, and they're now turning it into some celebrity thing for WrestleMania, aren't they? So,
yeah, because now apparently, like, this is the weird thing. Like, I moaned. I'll admit something here, right? I moaned a few weeks back about like the profile they give Dominic, considering how new to the business he is, and I think it's almost a little unfair. And then he's doing the comic relief celebrity matches, so I'm like, okay, I'll take it back. They're not exactly throwing him in the main event scene or anything like that. He's doing the comic relief stuff. Okay, he's not. He's probably still shouldn't be on the main roster in all fairness, but it is what it is. It's not like he's there taking over the fucking Intercontinental title scene or anything like that, which at this stage isn't really respected at all. But whatever. What are we talking about?
Tim Tams, I believe.
Yeah.
But no, I think. It was a solid match for what it was. I have no reason why they needed to put it on the pre-show. I was obviously only tuning in at 5 p.m. our time, so I
only
missed.
Had 3 hours, man.
I missed most of this. I ended up just catching the very end of the match, so I had to kind of watch it back again. But yeah, it annoyed me, and it set me off on an angry thing anyway, because one of my predictions was wrong right off the gate.
And then you had to go get a Snickers.
Yeah, they just kept telling me
to. And you're hungry.
So that was the first match. Then the opening match of the main card, surprisingly, kicked things off with Roman Reigns and Goldberg. Anthony,
what a way to kick the show off. Probably because Goldberg, it's bedtime's coming up. You have to catch the early bird dinner and head home, get some sleep. So it makes sense. You got to cater to them. So like that, the care home probably would have been looking for him at some point if he'd have stayed out too late. Various old man references. I don't know.
Terrible person.
Get lazy with it now. But no, of course. I like the occasional kick-off with a big match.
Mm-hmm.
It sits well. I think everyone probably expected Roman to be the main event, but there's an expectation there. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't expect this to kick off the show. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was like, the women's title match or even one of the chambers potentially. But the fact this was the first one out there, I mean, it also just kind of really alluded to the fact that there was no way Roman was going to lose it straight away on the opening.
Honestly, this is probably the best thing to come out of this pay-per-view is that Roman didn't lose it. Like, in a way, I've went into this saying, I said to you a few times, there's no way Roman's losing this. And then you go, yeah, but remember Bray? Remember the whole Bray situation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe
it's always a fear, isn't it? It's always a fear.
Like, I feel like this has been long-term booking in the sense of they made me think Goldberg could win this at Saudi. But the reality is he didn't, and that was the right decision. That was the best thing to happen all night.
No, you're right. It was obviously the right decision. The way the match was put together was proper shit, though, to be fair. It would have been... So the whole premise of the match was Goldberg's going to spear you. I got speared. And then I'm going to try and spear you again, but no, I'll avoid it. And then I'll spear you. Haha, I can do that move too. And then I'm going to beat him now. No, wait, you speared me again. Oh, okay. Well, this time you're going to pick me up for a jackhammer. I'll reverse that. Oh, you speared me again. Ah, well, I've kicked out, but you're going to jackhammer me again. Oh, no, I've reversed it into a guillotine. Oh, yeah, you're out.
And you did. I wanted, but I never got what I wanted, Carl. I wanted him to run for the spear. I wanted Roman to jump out of the way and then think, while I'm in the air, Superman punch, back of the head. Down he goes. Right? But they didn't do that.
Back of the head. Down he goes. I don't know why I got proper Shaun of the Dead vibes. But use like your little plant. Yeah. But no, we didn't get that. We got a clusterfuck of a match, unfortunately, which didn't have any payoff. In a sense, like
we're never going to. It's like,
well, yeah,
Roman, it's up, old man. Like,
well,
cool.
Exactly. It's basically he strangled an old man. Is basically the outcome of this match. That's what he did.
And unfortunately, Brock was busy, so it's not like they could have done anything with Brock getting involved or anything like that. You know, not that we're into screwy finishes, Carl, but it's not like they could have done anything to further the feud for Mania because he was busy.
Yeah, so even though Roman screwed him the other week, he wasn't bothered. Just go ahead, you do you.
Oh, he's above all that, Brock. He just comes
apparently
out.
So.
Wrecks everyone. Oh no, that's wrong.
But the funny thing was, actually, he didn't actually put him to sleep with his guillotine choke. It was just Goldberg just had a nap. So obviously, when the ref was lifting his hands,
all of Spears just really took it out of him, you know.
Well, exactly. But no, obviously, Goldberg has been fantastic over the years. And I guess I can't even say that with a straight face. He's been a draw over the years, right? People have liked the guy. That's a big name draw. But I'd like to hope now. I'd like to hope now that he's not going to be coming back anymore. Especially at the frequency that he has been doing. But I'd like to think this is it now, and it's done for him.
Well, the rumour has it the contract's been up for a while. He just keeps showing up at WWE, and they don't know what to do with him.
Well, maybe. I think as well, he also had a cut on his head, and I don't recall seeing him do it in the match. So did he headbutt a door again?
I think that's just how he opens doors.
Okay.
You ever been on a car ride with him? It's insane.
Well, it's a bit stuffy in here. Okay, go for it.
You okay there, Bill? Just blood dripping.
Just starts going through your CD collection. AC/DC, you're next! Okay.
I love it.
But, yeah. So, that was a match. It happened. We then moved on.
It certainly did.
Starting off strong because we moved on to the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And it was alright, to be fair. It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't. I think we both lose, or did you? I can't remember what your prediction was. I certainly lost.
I got it right. Of course I did.
I was adamant. I was adamant this weren't happening, and I'm actually relieved to know that it is.
Yeah.
For those who haven't watched it and are only listening to us, Bianca Belair won it.
She did. She didn't.
And I was adamant. I said to Carl in the prediction episode, I believe, I said this isn't going to happen. I feel like they've abandoned the her and Becky stuff completely. Those were my words.
They were your words.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I think relieved is the right word in a sense because obviously Alexa Bliss came back in this match. That was kind of she came out last, even though they did this twice. Actually, they did it with Brock as well. So they brought everybody down to get into the pods. And then the last one to come out was Alexa, but then she started in the pod. So it didn't really make sense. And it was the same with Brock as well. Like normally you bring out the four people going in the pods, and the last two are the ones we fight, right? That didn't happen. So I was a bit like, well, hang on a minute, what's going on? Is Alexa just not in the match anymore now? What's happening? But then obviously she came out, and it was still very much her old gimmick, which was I'm a bit disappointed about, to be honest. But they had a nice little touch. So they had a swing inside her pod for it to swing on, which I thought was quite funny. But she came out when it was when it was her turn and had a really good showing. Like I've missed her in the ring. I think she's really good.
Even before the being out for a bit, she wasn't doing a lot in the ring. She was mostly vignettes and segments and stuff. Yeah. So if you think about it, in the ring, we've not seen it in a very long time, really.
No. So I thought, I was like, oh, welcome back. We have definitely missed you. But I didn't like the booking of this match. Like, when Alexa came out, effectively, like, Liv was gone, Nikki was gone, Rhea Ripley was gone, Doudrop was gone. It was basically all just culminating in Bianca versus Alexa, and it was just a clean finish. There was nothing to it, and it's like, I don't know.
It's a weird way to bring her back, isn't it?
Yeah, like after all that time away, all these vignettes, she comes back and just loses clean to Bianca.
Don't be wrong. I think my prediction was for her to win, and I would have liked that. I wouldn't have been upset with that, but I wouldn't have had an issue with her losing. But like you say, I think it's like the way they booked it put a lot of emphasis on her loss, and it's like, why would you do that to someone who's only just come back, literally just come back?
Yeah, like if they're bringing her back with this still, magic powers or whatever thing that her gimmick is. Like, I think it would have been the ideal moment to do something with the likes of Liv Morgan or something where something happens and they both disappear from the chamber. Like, the lights go out or something and then they're gone. And that starts a separate feud. Because where do we go from here for the rest of the women now?
Well, exactly. They're going to do so. It's either going to be Liv or it's going to be Rhea. They're going to do something with Alexa, aren't they, and the whole Abby stuff. But I don't know, man. What do you do now?
I don't know, but I think it's obviously the right choice. I think Bianca's definitely going to win at WrestleMania.
They have to give her that Mania win, don't they?
Well, yeah. It's just a shame that it feels very similar to what they did with Sasha last year. So it's kind of just I worry for it that fans will turn on her eventually because it's like Roman Reigns territory, isn't it?
Fickle.
You start doing the same thing and pushing someone and pushing someone and pushing someone, and eventually you're like, all right.
All the WrestleManias are replay. Definitely the same thing.
It could be, to be fair. That's why it's over 2 nights as well. Just like, yeah.
If you can't wait for WrestleMania, just watch last year's.
It's exactly the same. So I guess the right outcome. It makes the most sense storyline wise, but yeah, a bit strange in terms of what they did with Alexa there, and the rest of them just didn't really get the opportunity to shine as much as I would have liked. It was definitely all about Bianca and Alexa, and you could see that, which is a shame.
And do you not miss the the mystery pod? Like, it's almost a shame that we knew Alexa was going to be in it because like the blacked out mystery pod we haven't seen in a little while.
Yeah,
get that anymore, do you?
Exactly. And it's a shame as well because it had a bit of intrigue in terms of who was going to be the mystery because people were like, oh, it's going to be Asuka or it's going to be Bayley coming back. Who knows? Asuka.
It's like the same book that we were talking about for Cody Rhodes. Where's Asuka?
Yeah, she's just it's the same book. She just appears every now and again. Just pops up with a tattoo on her neck. But yeah, so fair play. Bianca is the winner.
Indeed, and rightly so.
And the next one that we got was the women's tag match. So we had Ronda Rousey teaming up with Naomi to take on Charlotte and Sonya Deville. Obviously, Ronda had to have an arm tied behind her back for some reason. And
why not? Just makes sense to do that.
I get obviously the rules in Saudi, meaning that like the women have to be completely covered and stuff like that. But Ronda came down in her judo like gi, and I was just like, okay,
why not?
Yeah, sure. So that was interesting enough, but
I still don't understand the Saudi rules.
Yeah, me neither.
Topless men, all you like. Topless men all over this pay-per-view.
Everywhere, yeah.
But if you see a woman's forearm, nah, not having it.
Well,
not fucking having it.
I think the less said about the rules and rationales behind things, the better, really.
Okay, like maybe it's not a territory we want to tread into. It still puzzles me.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also I'm not educated enough to know it all, but at the same time, yeah, you've got a point from an outsider looking in. But so Ronda had to wrestle the match with one arm tied behind her back, and she still did her shitty punches. She still did her usual like.
For them.
Yeah, but the big thing that pissed me off about this was the finish again. I feel like all the finishes just really just didn't sit well with me this premium live event. And because essentially Ronda had Sonya Deville. Ronda had Sonya in the ready for the armbar, and Charlotte was there on the ringside, and Ronda was looking at her to say, "You're going to come and break it up," and Charlotte just went, "No," and then Ronda just put her in the armbar and won. And so now Charlotte's got a loss on her record.
And also, did that really help the Sonya feud at all? Who wasn't really feuding with Ronda anyway?
None of it made any sense at all. So basically, Naomi was there just for being their sake because they needed a fourth person.
Just to feel the glow in it.
Yeah. So obviously, they had Ronda and Charlotte's the main feud. They've got this little sub feud going on with Sonya and Ronda. But the Naomi and Sonya thing just hasn't been. Nothing's happened with that since they forced it down our throats for weeks and weeks and weeks and had that payoff.
Which is, again, they're both very talented people. It's a shame.
Yeah. It is. But yeah, I didn't sit well with me that Charlotte would just be like, all right, I'll just, whatever then, just.
Again, why even bother with the tag match if you're not asked?
Yeah. So I thought that whole thing was pathetic, to be fair. So was not a fan. But again, as expected, Ronda and Naomi picked up the win. We didn't think that Ronda was going to take a loss.
Not that people truly care what I would book it as, but for me, I'd have done straight out brawl between Ronda and Charlotte that ended up on the outside of the ring, and the two active participants being Sonya and Naomi in the ring, and Naomi actually gets the win.
Yeah.
You elevate both things then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they tried to overbook the whole thing because Sonya was now obviously selling her arm as well, wasn't she, from what Ronda did, and then the big reveal was, my arm's fine anyway, and you've still got your arm tied behind your back. And Ronda was just like, so... and still beat the shit out of her. And it was like, okay.
You forget one thing. I'm Ronda, bitch.
Exactly.
Because that's how they book it, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
It's the strangest book. No offense to Ronda, but it's the strangest booking with WWE because they want to be seen as a legit company up there with the likes of real sports companies like NFL and stuff like that. So they want this real sports feel. They always go for this, and yet they come they treat Ronda like. But she's an actual martial artist.
I know, yeah.
We're all playing, and she's actually an actor. It's like, why are you booking it like this?
I know.
The fuck?
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised they didn't make more of the fact that it was like, well, Sonya, you've not got your special jacket on, but I've got my special jacket on. It's a judo one. Hiya! It's pretty much how it felt like it was going to go down. But yeah. No mention of the magic jacket.
Not even the magic jacket. It's like she got out, put the jacket on, and was like, restart the match. None of that.
None of that. Because I was going to say something really bad. Then I was going to say obviously women don't have any authority over there, so she couldn't do that. Ooh, but again, going into uncharted territories.
Didn't let it fly.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wear jackets. No.
Yeah. So yeah.
Overall, though, as far as matches go, this one was kind of pointless before we got to it anyway. So
it was.
This is what it is.
It was. Next, speaking of pointless matches, we got Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Pointless. Madcap put his neck on the line.
He put his fucking everything on the line. Jesus Christ! How do you fuck that up?
Moss, but fuck, I feel sorry for him. And by all accounts, it was his fuck up. He didn't tuck, but that was grim.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a reverse Alabama slam, almost like an inverted one, wasn't it? But he pulled him over the top, and what was he? You just lie out flat. You don't tuck. What the fuck are you doing? So yeah,
I don't know the dynamic. I don't know if he was meant to tuck and didn't, or didn't.
Well, he should have. He should have went the
other way. I don't know
way.
what he's meant to. I believe it was similar. Is it similar to the Styles Clash where you're meant to do the opposite of what you normally would do, or something like that? Like the same way James Ellsworth nearly fucked up the Styles Clash because he tucked and he's not meant to fucking tuck with that move. Is it similar to that?
Similar, yeah. Essentially, is that he's bringing him over onto his stomach.
On his fucking head.
Well, yeah, he's bringing him over onto his stomach, so you don't tuck because then you're going to land on your head. So, but he tucked.
He did.
So it was like that was silly. But yeah, my God, that was. It's a shame really because they actually had an okay match, but that's all anyone's talking about from it is, well, he nearly died. Well, yeah, it's.
He nearly shit his own spine. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not trying to take the piss. I believe he's all right now. You know what I mean?
It was a gnarly looking bump. That to be fair.
Hell of a bump that.
But
yeah, he's going to remember that bump. Well, probably not Probably not.
Probably won't.
I don't even think he knows he was in Saudi anymore.
It's a shame, obviously, that Drew McIntyre is involved in this thing, and
again, it's culminating in a match between him and Corbin for Mania.
Well, exactly.
Exactly,
and again, this is a match no one wanted, and that's another match no one wants.
I love that there's a build to it though. Like we have to, like Corbin's the final boss. He has to get there. He has to work his way up the column.
And the thing is, again, and obviously this became a meme in itself, is like Drew McIntyre trying to decapitate someone in Saudi Arabia with his sword, and it's like, okay, don't. You set yourself up for these things. Yeah. So yeah, I think that whole gimmick is fucking stupid anyway. Like, I've always hated it. I don't think that you should even have the fucking sword in the first place. And you certainly shouldn't be, regardless of any country, going after people and trying to fucking chop their heads off. So
yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Hell of a match, mostly because of that bump.
Yes, basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Speaking of hell of a matches, Anthony, probably my match of the night was actually Becky Lynch and Lita.
What? To be fair, banger of a match, actually.
They were great.
And I was always quietly hopeful that they were gonna bring it, because I think you pointed out again in the prediction episode that like Becky was like a childhood fan of Lita.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you get a chance to wrestle your hero, like, and this only applies to wrestlers, I suppose, because if I got a chance to wrestle my hero, that'd be kind of weird, right? But as a wrestler, if you got a chance to wrestle your hero, you're gonna want to give it your all, aren't you? So I was quietly hoping this was going to be a banger of a match, and in all fairness, I don't think it disappointed.
No, I mean, to be honest, it exceeded my expectations. I think Lita was really good considering she's been out of the ring in so long. Had a really mixed offense, like load of unique things that I've never seen her do before, which was good. I think Becky played a really good part. Her acting was fucking awful, right? I said this earlier on, but she needs to take some acting lessons or something. There was a point where Lita kicked out, and literally the sell job of shock that Becky did was horrendous. It's the worst thing I've ever. It's even worse than that. It was just more like for like literally a good 25 seconds, and I'm like, yeah, all right, she kicked out. Fuck me. But that aside,
it happens in wrestling. Becky.
That aside, I thought it was great. There was so many like near falls. Like the fans were so into like Lita. You could tell that she's like a fucking legend over there. And she was really good.
Crowd give you like they love the wrestling legends, and they always get like a really good pop.
Yeah, they're clearly massive fans, which is great. But yeah, I think Lita really surprised me, and I loved how like even Becky tried like the Lita moonsault and stuff like that. It just it was the only match that was really intriguing from a storyline standpoint, I think, and it showed. It came through in the match, and that's why it was so.
And for as short as it was in terms of a build, like you say, the story was there.
Yeah, exactly. And similar. Everyone talked about like MJF going over to Punk after their match and whispering, thank yous in his ear and all that kind of stuff. You got to see the same stuff here as well. Obviously, it was a massive deal for Becky to fight. You're a hero. Obviously because she is a wrestler, Anthony. I'm not going to ask you on the show who your hero is, but yeah, please don't wrestle them.
Why are you doing this? It's a dream.
So yeah, it was fine for Becky. It made sense. She was happy. So yeah, match of the night for me. Then do you know what wasn't the match of the night, because it never even fucking happened? Was the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. Because
I was looking forward to this so much. Viking Raiders obviously going to win the titles tonight. So it's going to be a big moment for them.
Nope. Obviously, Viking Raiders spend about 5 minutes walking down to the ring doing this for no reason. For ages.
That's what Vikings do.
Well, yeah. Okay.
The history.
And they go down for ages and ages and ages, get to the end of the ramp after all that, and then the Usos just attack them, and then they go, oh, now you can't have a match. Like, it almost, because just before this, or like a couple of seconds before this, that's when The Miz was like, oh, I'm going to get a tag team partner, and I was like, okay. And part of me was thinking for some mad reason that, like, hang on, have the Viking Raiders been taken out, and so we need a replacement team, and it's going to be The Miz and this new person or something, like winning the titles?
I mean, that would have been something.
Well, yeah. But no, it just wasn't even that. Like the whole thing felt weird. Like, why tease a tag team with Miz a second ago,
I'd love
then
to
take out
know
the tag team?
what happened. I'd love to know what happened where they've gone, we've no time for this tag match. Let's cut this.
Exactly.
Cricket want to do another advert with no time.
Exactly.
Let's cut this.
When you've got an hour and 7 minutes of wrestling on your 3 hour plus show and you can't fit in this match, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because, as you said, the only other thing that was using time was promo packages and adverts. So, was the plan always for it never to happen? In which case, why fly him there?
A bit of a fuck you.
Why fly him over there?
That's a good point.
Yeah, like,
what a waste
okay.
of time.
Exactly. Like, okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to sit on a plane, okay? When you get there, yeah, you're going to beat your chest down on the way down to the ring, yep. Go back again and fly home. Am I still getting...
What about the finish? Oh, that was the finish.
Am I still getting Saudi money? Yep, okay. Cool,
money.
So, yeah, so biggest of the night, this, unfortunately. It's just like, well, what's the point?
Fucking cop-out. Massive cop-out.
What's the point? And they had this...
Just
before
all the belts being defended
imagine.
On a premium live event, Carl. We can't have that. That's to just be the top belts.
This is true. But they had that just before the main event, which again made the position of it even weirder. But we moved into the main event, obviously the men's elimination chamber match, and straight out of the gates, it started with some interesting developments. So Bobby Lashley was accidentally taken out when a move, I think it was Riddle and Rollins, basically ended up putting the glass through and knocked Bobby unconscious or whatever. Now, the official word was for concussion protocols, he was unable to finish the match, so basically, he's losing his belt. It was like...
Remember when that glass was bulletproof?
I know, right?
That glass was bulletproof.
It's bulletproof, it's not riddle-proof, apparently.
He's faster than a speeding bullet, quite clearly.
So that was an immediate like, okay, that's a cop out. And then basically they carried on the match. Everyone else came out, and then it was only Brock in the empty chamber. The lights are flickering as they do to find who's going to come out next, and it's Bobby's chamber. So we were like, oh, I have to wait for Brock. And then Brock's like, nah. And then he just basically kicks his one open, and then he just comes out and literally decimates everybody in a matter of seconds. AJ Styles, F5, gone.
Here's the thing. Is that not against the rules?
Well, that's what I was thinking at the time. I was like, so is he going to win this? And then they're going to be like, well, actually, he hadn't entered the match yet, and therefore it's not. Like, yeah, so I didn't. So that in itself was weird. If you believe certain reports as well, that was like Brock just went off script and did that, and so that wasn't part of it. Which, okay, I don't know why you would.
I've heard reports that actually was bulletproof glass for Brock, so I don't know how he fucking did it.
Well, yeah, there you go.
I kid, of course.
But obviously, this was just the burial of all burials again. So Brock comes out and just literally kills AJ, kills Riddle, kills fucking Seth Rollins, which only left Brock and Austin Theory. So straight away you knew. And then we had to go through this whole thing of like Austin Theory trying to run away from him, gives him a low blow. And it's like, you shouldn't have done that. And then basically Brock, just like in, your favourite WWE video game, manages to stop Austin Theory from climbing out of the cell and F5s him off the top of the chamber.
As you do. Poor Austin.
So, yeah. Fair play for taking that bump, but...
I feel like, I low-key feel like WWE are trying to get Brock to have the same amount of championships as Ric Flair, but in the space of a year.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Yeah, like, none of this made sense. And, maybe the fact that Bobby's got a legitimate shoulder injury has forced their hand. Maybe this wasn't the way they were planning. I don't know. So I can't shit on them too bad. I still can't
fathom how you have a WrestleMania that's 2 nights, right? Because I will shit on them a little bit. You have a WrestleMania that's 2 nights long, and you monopolize both your main titles.
Yeah.
In one match. If they'd have put it on AJ or Seth or someone, then you have 2 matches then to set up for Mania, and a card that you've got to fill over 2 nights because you've decided that it has to be 2 nights now. Like what WrestleMania is going to feel a little bit empty at points. I'm just going to say.
Where's the room for all the celebrities, Anthony? We've got to have Johnny Knoxville on there and Logan Paul.
Going to rock up again because we haven't seen him in a week.
Well, yeah, exactly. But no, I don't know.
He's actually the most palatable one because he can actually wrestle.
Well, yeah. You've got a good point, though, haven't you? Like, let's be honest. Like, these are their 2 main titles, and now, yeah, as you said, they're both used up in the one match. So Obviously, that means one of the women's title matches will get the chance to main event one of the nights, you would imagine, which is
which is fine. But like when for me, it's like you've got 2 whole nights to fill. Like they can't both main events. I get that, but you still have both matches. I don't understand. Like I don't know.
No, I think as well.
What's everyone else gonna do?
Yeah, like you've literally just took the words out of my mouth, damn it.
Sorry.
But it's exactly that. Is like you've got so many other people now who just don't have anything to go towards. Like, what's their purpose at Mania?
This goes back to your old point that Money in the Bank should never have been its own pay-per-view. Because that would have been a solution, wouldn't it? You have a Money in the Bank ladder match at Mania to put these people in.
Exactly.
Fun happens, and it's fun on the 2 nights.
Yeah, but it would have made perfect sense, but no.
Now we're going to have to do another Battle Royal, probably.
Yeah. I legit don't know where, like, what is Rollins doing? So if Austin doesn't come back and this is all just a load of shite, you imagine there's going to be something with Kevin Owens, right? But if Austin does come back, what's Rollins got at that pay-per-view? Because you imagine... Sorry, premium live event. You imagine that AJ Styles is going to do something with Edge, is potentially what's being rumoured. Bobby's out injured. Riddle and Randy, will they turn on each other? Will they be just involved in the tag scene? Like, who... Like, I just feel for Seth. Like, who's Seth going to go against?
Well, clearly Riddle and Randy are going to fight Seth and Kevin Owens. Is that Mania?
Maybe. Wouldn't
surprise me. For the belts.
So it's a very strange one, to be fair. I don't know what's next for Seth now. He's the biggest casualty out of all of this, I think.
It seems, and I just don't like. You could have given him the win without too much damage.
But if it's to be believed, obviously, is that it was rumored that Shane McMahon was going to be Seth's opponent at WrestleMania anyway. So
no,
and it might have been that the plan was going to be to put Bobby against Seth, but now Bobby's out injured, so maybe this is why nothing's happened for him. Like. I don't know.
Shane's not going to be at Mania though, right?
Well,
we can't have another non-wrestler at Mania. That's right. That's steady. I don't care how many things he jumps off.
Or can you? Here he comes to save the day. Here comes the savior. Here he goes. Sorry.
Maybe Seth's going to put a promo, and then Shane out of nowhere just jumps off the WrestleMania sign. Don't know.
Maybe that is entirely possible. Or you could, Anthony, which is where my wild speculation comes into place. Will we actually get Cody at Mania, and will we actually get Rollins versus Cody? Because that would be a nice match for Rollins. But
I still maintain it's not out of the realms of possibility. I don't think it'll mean Cody is signed properly to WWE, but I don't think he passed up an opportunity to have a good match at Mania. I really don't. So we could see it, and Rollins would be a good shout.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely think this is the first time in a long time where we're so close to Mania. We've got just a month and a bit left, and most of the cards still isn't. We're none the wiser, are we? So.
And when's Mania on?
It's very start of April, isn't it?
Very start of April. So we'll be able to moan about this for the love of wrestling, yeah.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. Can't wait. It's all I'm gonna do. So that's my whole thing.
Did you catch Mania? It's gonna be like. I can't do the football stuff, Carl, or soccer. I don't know it. But I could probably I'd be one of those guys. Did you catch that ludicrous display? I never get to do that whole sports talk, so it'd be fun.
I mean, you'd never tell with did you catch that ludicrous display? I imagine you're saying that about wrestling as well, right?
Yeah. Well, it's general themes. Like anyone who watches the IT crowd knows where I'm coming from with that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Anthony, that was Elimination Chamber. Scores on the doors. What are your thoughts out of 5 for the overall thing? I was thoroughly unimpressed, unfortunately. I'm going to go with a big fat 1.
Okay, I was thinking 2 until you said that. And then I think I might be overly generous because, generally speaking, there was one enjoyable match for me, which was Becky and Lita. So, you know what? I'm gonna land the same place. I'm not going to argue with you even slightly this week. I'm going to give it a 1 as well. Maybe tempted to a 1.5, but why am I giving it a half? What else?
Good choice, I say. I know, a lot of people actually were saying that this was actually decent or, not bad and things like that. And I worry if that's the case because anyone who watched this and was happy with it, the finishes to the matches and not necessarily the outcomes.
Trusting the internet. I think the internet loves to be disagreeable. I think there'll be a general tone of like, this was a bad pay-per-view, and then you just get like this just massive undercurrent of people like, it was really good. People just like to hate WWE, and most of them are just being defensive of WWE. And I'm like, has anyone like? Because some people might argue we're not looking at it objectively, but we try to, and I think we're trying to look at it through a fair lens. And like you say, there's some weird calls here, some weird decisions. The structure of it was a bit odd. The fact that the tag match just never happened for no reason on a 3-hour show was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like
I
don't know how you can call it a good pay-per-view. Premium live event.
It's one of that. Like for me, it's not so much the outcomes; it's just the way that the matches unfolded and like the finishes to the matches and stuff. Literally, the only one that was a really, really good match was Lita and Becky. The rest of them were fucking either crap or passable at best. So yeah, it was really bad. Fortunately, this is the last stop on the way to WrestleMania. And I don't feel like we've come out of it any the wiser really in terms of how that card shapes up. And as you say, a big part of that as well is because both titles are now in the one match, so it leaves a massive black hole in terms of what we're going to do with the rest.
Massive black hole, you might say.
Indeed. But yeah, we have been the A2theK Wrestling Show. Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you disagree. If you love the show, tell us why. Tell us why we're wrong. If you agree that it was pretty bad, yeah, agree. Give us a thumbs up.
Right.
And tell us why we're right. We love that too. Yeah, we'll be back next week for another fun-filled show. But here is a little commercial for the upcoming For the Love of Wrestling convention in Liverpool, UK, the 23rd to 24th of April. We'll be there. You be there, or you'll be square.
Be there and be square.
Oh, I like it. See you next week.
For Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention, returns to the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool on the 23rd and 24th of April. Guests this year include Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus, the Wrestling God, JBL, the Dudley Boys, Torrie Wilson, and just announced MJF from AEW. We will also be doing a Wyatt family reunion as we welcome Eric Rowan, the man formerly known as Braun Strowman, and indeed the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Also just announced is the man, the legend, the icon, Sting, and of course your Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. This and many, many, many more guests, as well as prop builds, Q&As with all of the wrestlers, and some of the biggest wrestling collections in the world on display from our exhibitors. Get your tickets at forloveofwrestling.co.uk or search Facebook or Twitter for the Love of Wrestling. For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention, returns to Liverpool the 23rd and the 24th of April.
Hey guys, it's Georgia Smith here, and you've heard me on A2theK. These guys are awesome. Check it out. A2theK.
A2theK.